Order. Let me see here. Has anybody read the minutes from June 4th, 2019?
Motion to accept the minutes as printed.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No meeting mail, no appointments. So let's start case number 2019.08.06A, a case on Joseph Sebastio of 63 Club Avenue, who is petitioning for a variance to be able to subdivide and sell his lot. His request is being made under the provisions of section 3.3.4E7. Mr. Sebastio, step up to the podium and state your case.
I'm feeling in trouble.
State case. Tell us what you'd like to do.
Yep. I'm sorry?
State your case, tell us what you want to do.
I'm trying to take off the land, trying to sell it off to pay off
Talk a
the
little louder,
mortgage.
please.
Yeah, we can.
I'm trying to sell off the land to try to pay off on mortgage and house.
Is that on?
The microphone on?
Tap that microphone.
You might have to just aim it.
No?
Yeah, you might
No.
have to talk.
Aim
Yeah,
it.
Is there a button there?
Yeah.
There you go.
And put it right in front of your mouth.
All right.
That better?
No,
No, it's not on, maybe, no. Is it
I
on?
think that's
Who's out back, Eric?
for the system.
That microphone's just for us.
Yes.
Oh,
Is
okay,
it on?
just for you?
Okay, to speak up
Then you
then.
gotta speak up.
Again, trying to sell off a portion of the yard to pay off on mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
Looking for a 6-inch variance from the requirements.
That's it?
That's a big lot, that's bigger than most of the lots on the street.
The lot's actually kind of offset. My house is about 20 feet away from the fence on the right-hand side,
Yeah.
and the garage is towards the center, so it's actually, the side yard is pretty much grass, and I just keep it cut. That's about it. That's what you'll use for it.
Yeah.
The water and storage on Club Ave?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the depth of the lot is 79.34, it's supposed to be 80 feet. And this side is 79.60. That's even less than 6 inches. Does anybody else want to speak before I get into the building commissioner's letter?
Is there anybody against it?
I'd like to ask a couple of questions if I may.
Sure, step up to the podium.
I can talk pretty loud.
We know that handsome
know.
face and that skinny body. Look at this guy, you look like a muscle man. What, have you been lifting weights?
I got away from town politics that way. I lost a lot of weight and gained a little bit of sanity. My question is,
You
what
need
is...
the name for the record, please?
Oh, Peter Kazura. The question is, what is the minimum lot size in that part of town?
The minimum lot size is
Supposed to be 100 feet by,
No, I'm talking about square footage wise.
10,000 square feet.
10,000 square feet is the minimum in that part of town?
Yep.
Because of sewage and...
Because it's got water and sewer.
Okay. So evidently, the two lots that he's making out of one lot, each of them would have more than 10,000 square feet?
Yes,
Is
one
that
has 10,747, that's the one that looks like he's subdividing.
Yes.
And the lot that he's got his house built on is 14,627.
Okay, that's my question.
Oh, it's easy.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else in the audience that would like to speak for or against the applicant? Before I throw some stuff out here? No? Nobody wants to?
I just have one question. This is,
Please step up to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
She don't need
I gotta be walking around. My only concern is that this property is going to be sold for another residential building going in.
Correct?
No business of any kind at all.
No business is allowed in that area.
Right, there isn't.
It's not business
But I'm wondering
zone.
with the variance.
It's not business owned.
Yeah.
Right.
But the question that you want to ask, and it should be addressed to the individual who owns the property. So, there you go. You're selling it as a residential piece of property, right?
Yes.
To build a house.
Yep, house lot, yeah.
No business.
Nothing else, no.
And once he sells that, if anybody wanted to put a business in there, they'd have to come in front of this board to have that changed, to get a
Right.
special permit.
Okay. And we'd be notified again?
You would,
to come?
everybody would be notified. And you'd
Okay.
have your chance to speak against it or for it if you wanted to, either way, but most of the time, in this case, I mean, I'm not telling you that nobody could ever open a business there. For an example,
Yeah,
somebody could build a house there, and they could be a notary public.
oh,
So, you know, things like that. Not
Home occupation.
not manufacturing,
Yeah.
anything like that. That would have to come from the board, and that would depend on if the neighbors want to approve it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, you know, we pretty much side with the neighbors.
okay,
Okay?
that was it.
Right?
So it would never be approved for anything, because it's not a zone for business, right?
It's,
Not zone.
Correct.
right
Am I speaking
now,
loud enough?
right now,
Residential.
You always speak loud enough.
No, I just wanted to make sure that, that's all, not that I care, but I just want to make sure there's not going to be a business zone, it's not zoned for business.
Zone
it's
residential.
residential area. Okay?
Good.
So,
Okay.
with that said,
So, one more question, Mr. Chairman, if I can.
You're only allowed one question at night, one per night.
Okay.
Good luck with that. I guess it is.
come on down.
You're moving a little slow, Pete, you okay?
Well, you know, I'm getting old like you.
I know.
I'm not getting, I am.
He is.
The only thing that you gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, are voting on tonight, the use is the depth of the lot. Is that correct?
Variance,
Right.
variance
The
only.
variance only for the depth of the lot, right?
Right.
That's the only thing you're changing,
That's exact.
right? That's
There would
correct.
be, there would be a variance for the 6-inch depth.
All right.
That's the only thing we're proving or disapproving tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, and any building permits that he gets would have to be,
That would have to go
from
through,
permitted use, which is
For the
residence
building
area.
commissioner.
it would have to go through the building commissioner.
Yeah,
And if he rejected anything that was up there, then they would have to come in front of the board
yeah.
for any approvals, and any approvals would then everybody would be notified again.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion.
Hang on a minute.
Oh, all right.
She said, you're gonna get rid of
Do
this.
any board members have any questions at all? Okay, I just want to read this into the record because it makes sense, and I understand where Jim's coming from. But this Jim is a building inspector. He sent a letter to Mr. Sebastio. The land currently owned by you on 63 Club Avenue has enough land to meet the standards for subdivision, but the parcel is as drawn, does not meet the minimum requirements for lot depth. Though just inches short of the most appropriate way to move forward would for the zoning board of appeals to grant a variance for the 8 inches required to meet the zoning. Under case law, I may have the power under the auspice of a de minimis finding to approve the plan as drawn, but feel strongly that this is the better way to approach the issue, which then provides a registered decision after a public hearing and an approved grant by the board. So technically, the building inspector could have granted you the 6-inch variance,
That's right.
but instead of making it look like he's in control of whatever, he wanted to make it come through the board, to make it official, that everybody understands what's going on. So nothing's done behind closed doors, this is all out in front, okay? So he further states, what is the de minimis rule in law? De minimis is a Latin expression meaning about minimal things. Normally in the locutions, de minimis, I'm not a Latin guy, but non curat praetor. The praetor does not concern himself with trifles. Or de minimis, non curat lex. The law does not concern itself with trifles, a legal doctrine by which a court refuses to consider trifling. So if this went to court, technically, the judge probably wouldn't even want to hear this. He would throw it out. So that leaves us with a decision to either approve the 6-inch variance, which is de minimis by legal terms, and so there lies the motion. So now can I have a motion to approve the applicant for, let's see, let's do 8 inches, because it says 8 inches in Mr. Merritt's. Although I see only 6, let's just go for the 8 inches, that way we
All right,
cover all the
we'll
board.
cover it, yeah.
Okay.
So can I have a motion for the 8-inch variance?
I'll make
I
a
have a
motion.
question.
Okay,
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Does this have to be written in the minutes now that we're adding this to the application?
That's what the variance is, though, right?
The 8 inches that he
Approving
wants,
the
that
8-inch
extra.
variance.
I would go,
It's not in here, right?
Yes, it is.
It is?
Yeah.
It's in the letter from the building inspector that says.
Oh, from the building inspector, it's down hours on anything that we
No,
have.
no. The building inspector wrote a letter back to Mr. Sebastio requiring him to get a grant for a variance of 8 inches. So that's what we're gonna vote on.
Okay.
So anybody want to make a motion for the 8-inch variance?
I'd like to make a motion for an 8-inch variance for the lot.
Second,
Okay. All in favor of approving the 8-inch variance for the applicant, please signify by raising your right hand, please. It's unanimous. Amanda has an approval form for you to sign over here. Mr. Sebastio. Now you got a 20-day waiting period.
we're appealed to.
What happens
Amanda, do you have a form for us to sign for yourself?
I do, and not, if you can sign the minutes or something.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you. You're all set. Have a
Okay.
great night.
Before you go, I just want to let you know that you have a 20-day waiting period. Anybody can appeal our decision tonight. Okay? In that case, then you would have to go to a court and have somebody, and have a judge hear the case. If that doesn't happen over 20 days, you can go up to the building department and see Jim Mara, and he'll follow you with 12 on it. Okay? Good luck to you.
Yeah. That's what he's saying, she has a lot of claims on there at 10 o'clock at night. Oh, that's gonna create a problem.
And then you're gonna make a phone call to get that.
So where's he going with this?
You gotta wait 20 days for an appeal. Somebody wants to appeal.
Need one more?
Sure. Sure, a couple on there.
No, he's gotta get it in his.
This is what
No,
this
you gotta get
this
it in
amounts
his.
to. Is really nothing.
Hey, Mark.
This
You're almost falling off the side of that thing there. I don't wanna see you
What
fall.
you wanted to do.
Thank you. Hey, I have a lot of concern with your vote. That's it.
That's right.
Just doesn't want to see it.
Thank you.
Have a great
Bye,
night.
folks. Thank you.
Mike, I haven't seen you in years. What are you up to? Nothing? Just getting ready to retire. We still got to end the meeting yet.
Oh, you didn't have the meeting yet? So we can't say goodbye? Goodbye.
I'm gonna see you on there.
Good night, Mr. Pizzaro.
Have a nice one, guys.
Thanks for stopping in.
I'm glad to be here.
Okay. So we signed you up to pay. That's all set?
All set.
The minutes are all set? Do we have to sign the, that we already signed the approval?
sign 3 pages.
Do we have any applicants for next month?
No,
Okay.
I will check with her again. I didn't talk to her today, but I will check with her again to be 100%. But as of a couple days ago when I talked to her, there was not.
If it wasn't in by the first of the month.
Damn it.
Then it's, I get you.
That was cold out. I haven't been out today except for now. So how's the town of Rochester with me?
Great.
How's me? What goes right here this month?
Can't take you anywhere.
Do we have any old business we need to discuss?
No,
I'm here.
Any new business we'd like to discuss?
no.
Okay, without any further business in front of this board, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.